postgraduate courses there. And we are from Mumbai. Today when I see so much little crowd and a small hall, I feel that autism itself is a topic which is kind of abundant. So not only the children, they feel abandoned, but we as autism specialists also feel abandoned, because most of the seminars and most of the conferences and lectures are happening there, and we are abandoned in a corner somewhere. So I think we require a bigger place, looking at the population of autism which is increasing day by day. It's that the role of homeopathy in autism, which is caused by abuse in pregnancy. Now every time we know that when a child is born, or when the mother is pregnant or the lady is pregnant, both the parents, they are looking forward to a birth of a normal child, and they are so happy that the child is going to come in the world. They are going to look at what's happening. But there are many situations, many problems whereby the child develops abnormality in the womb itself due to the stress on the mother. This is very, very important. And many a times this stress can itself show on the child in form of autism or any other disorder. So today we are going to look at role of homeopathy in autism due to abuse in pregnancy. The state of mother during the pregnancy is one of the most important factors that helps us in understanding a child, which we all know, right? All the physical and emotional changes experienced by a woman during the pregnancy cast a big influence on the child. During this period, the child himself has not seen the world, but he or she is feeling or perceiving or sensing it through the mother. In my experience, I have seen many cases of kids with autism where the mothers of these kids during pregnancy and even during their childhood, this is very, very important. In our history, we need to find out the childhood of the mother also. Maybe they had an abusive background, remember that. This means that they were abused either as a child sexually, emotionally or physically by someone in the family, or they were abused sexually, emotionally or physically by their spouses. This is very, very important. According to a new study from Harvard School of Public Health, women who experience physical, emotional or sexual abuse as children are more likely to have a child with autism than women who are not abused. This is very important. Adverse perinatal circumstances have been associated with increased risk of autism, women exposed to childhood abuse and intimate partner violence, which is very, very important. Okay? Extreme high stress levels during pregnancy affect fetus in two ways. Number one, reduction in the uterine blood flow, and number two is cortisol, which is liberated due to the stress. And there is some evidence that this means that children can be born with a post-traumatic stress syndrome. Remember the PTSD? For example, they will have reduced volume of the hippocampus, which is seen on the CT scans, right? In the case of 2021, it is a verbatim of the mother. The guy, his most challenging issue is his rigid routines, which you know, right? In autism, there are a lot of rigid routines, like driving him to McDonald's and few other shops every morning, little after sunrise. Imagine the mother of a 24, 21-year-old guy has to take the guy every day for the last 15-20 years to McDonald's, which is 50 kilometers from her house, and bring him back in the same road, in the same car every day. If she doesn't, it really causes a lot of problems. He spends all his days watching cartoons from different tablets at the same time, and TV has to be on well as well. Picky eating, which is very common in autism, he eats only fries, sweets, chocolates, bread, etc. Also likes ice cream, salty chips and fries. Goes to toilet, so there are a lot of gut issues also. Little defecation, but a lot of pain, he has to take a lot of laxatives. And the fourth one is he is withdrawn, like most of the autistic kids, right? Not talking or engaging with others. It started when we asked how did this start, because this was a regression, remember. Autism always has some kind of regression history. So these children are kind of normal for some time and then they start regressing. So it started after we moved to another city and permanently left his childhood house, which he cried to go back for years together. He wanted to go back to his old house. His regression started when he was 6 months old. We moved to a very dark and moldy place. I cried, did not want to stay there. This is what the mother said, but his father insisted. He never was able to sleep there. Now this is where the regression started, remember. It started after we moved to another city and permanently left his childhood house, which he cried for years. Then I asked, how is he as a person? His perception is very good. He belongs to the autistic 7th variety. Remember the high functioning autism? He is able to talk but doesn't refer. He learned to read and write by himself and can read in English, knows many words. Now this is a Turkish patient, so not many people they speak English there, but he speaks English very fluently. He has little difficulty articulating words and sometimes gets discouraged, gives up talking. Sensitive to disapproval, always wants approval, and he is very sensitive to criticism. He likes being around people, likes being praised. He is usually happy, easygoing. He can entertain himself. He is withdrawn, gets upset when I criticize, and he fears dog and his father leaving him and his mother leaving him. He is very cozy, wants people around. Doesn't have any family other than me. His father lives far in another city. Never had a close relation. He was close to his grandmother. He saw her die in our house from cancer. Few months later, he completely changed. So every time he had somebody who was close, the house, the grandmother, everything went away and he was all alone. Imagine how the child must be feeling. Then I asked the mother, tell me what was your state during pregnancy, which is very important. She said, when I was pregnant, I had to stay at my mom's house. She always complained to other family members about me, nagged about me sleeping too much. I was very sleepy during pregnancy. I once wanted to leave the house. Eventually, she asked me to get out of the house. Now, imagine a pregnant lady. During her pregnancy, she was thrown out of the house. Can you imagine the state of the person, right? My both parents were very negative, nagging and disapproving. They always told me that you are nothing. Favoring my younger brother because he was a boy and sent me away for a year when I was 7. So I felt unwanted, I felt burdened, I felt unworthy. This was the state during pregnancy. This is how pregnancy state can percolate into the child, remember that, okay? And my grandmother took her side, she got very angry, reprimanded me. She said that if child comes to this earth with any problems, it is on you. I once wanted to leave the house. I felt unwanted, burdened and disapproved. So what I looked at the core of the case, the main feeling was that she was feeling forsaken. The feeling that I have been disapproved, forsaken, deserted, despised, abandoned, repudiated, thrown out, unwanted feeling, separation, conflict and outcast feeling. A feeling which we, which brings us into, if we close our eyes, we think of a leper. A person who's suffering from leprosy, his hands and feet are falling off, there is neural problem and he's sitting like a beggar there and say, oh, go away, we don't want to look at you. This was the feeling of the mother. The feeling of the mother was like a leper, like a patient suffering from leprosy. Okay? We looked at the rubrics: ailments from grief, forsaken feeling, isolation, despised, repudiated, unfortunate. We saw that there is a lot of destructiveness and feeling unfortunate. Remember, this was very important. We looked at the rubrics chosen, all the rubrics chosen. The remedy coming very close, covering all the rubrics is Hura Brasiliensis. It's a very important remedy, and in fact, it has a state similar to the leper because it was used for leprosy. It is used for thickening of the skin and pathology similar to leprosy. So Dr. Shankaran also found out that Hura could have a tendency or a mentality like leper, and they found out all the rubrics of Hura. I had only one dose of 30 Hura. I gave him only one dose, and after a month, I saw that his obsessions were better, 75%, which was a miracle. Remember, only one dose of 30, but still rigidity of thoughts. Started interacting with his mother's, irritability and violence was better. He was not hitting himself. The video I was going to show you, he is actually hitting himself very violently, but I'm sorry it is not opening. Screaming has stopped completely, the stools are better, sleep is better, and Hura B 30 was given. Again, placebo for 2 months. Again, his obsessions are better, no irritability, stools okay, the generalities is better, sleep is okay, refreshed, placebo for 3 months now. After 6 months now, he is calm, interested in interacting with people, can go out on his own for groceries. This is very important. We are trying to make him more productive and creative after homeopathy. Remember that. Rigidity of thoughts is much better, sleep is better, appetite, again placebo for 6 months. Sorry, the videos are not opening. So I have looked at around 50 cases in my practice where abuse, and what are the types of abuse? Physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, financial, neglect and stress. Stress includes most of the other kinds of abuse, and we see how the common remedies coming up. Most of the common remedies I saw was carcinosin. Now carcinosin, if you look at the rubrics, abuse in the synthetic repertory, synthesis repertory or complete repertory, many rubrics of carcinosin. Then belladonna, lachesis, tarantula, tuberculum, medoranum and lysine. And of course Hura was one of our remedies that we gave. Lysine is for a lot of self-injurious behavior. So role of carcinosin in abuse in mother. In mother you get these rubrics. Ailments from abuse after being with indignation and in marriage. Sexually abused, reprimands, reproaches, honor wounded, mortification, humiliation, neglected. Very important rubric. Life has been a long, hard struggle. This is a rubric in the complete repertoire. Mildness, masking the violence, masking the grief. They are very, very mild people and they will just keep on doing everything. The basic feeling is not appreciated, taken for granted. Delusion of being a martyr. They act like a martyr, remember. Very important rubric, loves watching stormy weather. Now what is stormy weather? If you look it in a broad meaning, stormy weather is something which is, something which would cause depression, which will cause destruction, which will put you down. But these people, carcinosin, also like to work in stormy weather. So even under the most dire, bad circumstances, carcinosin can get up and still do a lot of good work. Remember that. And that's why it is in the rubric high spirited and dancing. They keep on dancing. Dancing is not a physical dancing, but keeping on in spite of all the stress. That is dancing. Conscientious about and responsibility, taking responsibility too seriously. This is the state of the mother during pregnancy. Remember, I'm talking of carcinosin basically. And next go to what is the child born of this. Ailments from domination, a very, very diligent child, intelligent, intellectual, artistic child. Precocity in children, affectionate, talented, and high-spirited children. These are the children. Therefore, carcinosin comes maximum in autism due to abuse. Remember, if the mother is carcinosin, there are high chances that even the child can become a highly savant autistic, the high-functioning autism. Capriciousness, again, in the child, responsibility, taking responsibility too early, conscientious, pleasing. Now this is always there, the mother always wanted to please her in-laws, the mother always wanted, the same thing comes in the child, that the child is very, wants to please the teacher, wants to please the parent. Now remember, domination is there, but they don't like domination, they take the domination, they act as good children, but does not mean that they like domination. Nobody likes domination, remember. But he gets dominated, but he still keeps on working in order to get that appreciation. And once they appreciate it, they feel their value. Same thing you saw in the case also, remember? So longing for good opinion of others, they like nature. Now nature does not mean only plants, animal. Nature means his own nature is very, very nice. Only gives. You know what is the function of nature? Nature never takes from us. Okay, nature only gives. Similarly, carcinosin also like that. Only gives, never takes from anyone. So that is a giving nature. And he wants to be appreciated. I have also used batch flowers in autism, remember, especially post-abuse issues. One of the most important remedies that I have used is Star of Bethlehem, remember. When the mother is abused during pregnancy and the child is born with autism, I do give a lot of Star of Bethlehem, which is a very, very important remedy for bad effects of abuse and trauma in the child. When the child has uncontrolled violence and behavior, there are remedies like cherry plum and rock rose. Hyperactivity, of course. Intolerance, allergies. I hope you know what a batch flower is. Have you heard of batch flowers? Beach, clematis, always lost in their own world. And when there is a transition, when they are sensitive to changes, when from school to college, for a new job, or you get married and you go to a new place, you join a new office, you are not able to adjust, the best remedy is walnut, which is also very, very important remedy for autistic children. Yeah. No, thank you. Obsessive behaviors, very important, crab apple and white chestnut. Repetitive actions, white chestnut. Wanting to be aloof, water violet, too much talkative, heather. Fear of known things, nebulous, and rigidity of thoughts. Rock water is a very, very important. Thus, we see that the effect of abuse on the mother has damaging effects on the unborn fetus and can lead to various birth anomalies and also learning and behavioral deficits in the child. Homeopathy can remove traumas absorbed by the fetus during pregnancy and birth. Therefore, it has an excellent scope in autism, and if we get a positive history of trauma or abuse in the mother during pregnancy, we can surely get to the symptom and heal the child of autism. This is my bibliography. Thank you very much.